Welcome to the desert of the real.
Welcome to the Desert of the Real. I am your host, Ryan Hudson, and joined with me, as always, is your other co-host who's been reincarnated as a Na'vi.
Jason Deeds.
The Desert of the Real is a movie podcast where I force Jason to watch big blockbuster movies he's refused to watch because he didn't think they're worth his time.
Like this one.
See, I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, you did.
But you are wrong, and this was going to be a hot and spicy episode, I think.
We are going to engage in verbal fisticuffs.
Yeah, we are, because...
I also have a tag team partner for my side, Martin Harris.
Has he already told you what he thinks?
Martin Harris is... He and I both think critically, unlike other people on this podcast.
I don't know if that's true anymore, Deeds, after this movie. Don't know if that's true anymore.
So Martin Harris is back for his, I think this is his third episode with us. So welcome, Martin.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm going to come off the top rope when Jason tags me in, and we're going to crush this thing because it's awful.
Oh, man.
Two completely wrong.
We'll see how well Ryan deals with it.
Anyway, we are currently watching the Avatar films. We're here to ask if this movie has anything deep to say. And there's just too much. If anything, we don't have enough time to get into all
I mean, if we're talking about fathoms, maybe. But other than that, no, there's not a whole lot of depth to this movie. But
we are two English language arts high school teachers with graduate degrees, and we attempt to use our academic training to dig deeply into movies. We explore the philosophy, creativity, film studies, and ethics in our films, and push you, the listener, to think critically about your entertainment.
Sorry, welcome. We're grateful you're here. Yeah, this is probably going to harken back to, the Iron Man days when I was just full of rage at idiocy, and Ryan was like, but look at the beautiful sparklers coming out of his hands.
Yeah, our podcast has grown. I would say the first, I don't know how many episodes aren't very good.
The first 4 are not very good.
Right.
And then we do the Winter's Bone episode, and I calmed
Winter's Bone was the best episode at the time.
Yeah.
And
I calmed down a little bit of my rage because I actually got a good movie in me. It's like you can eat so much dog crap, and then you have to, eat something good for you, like, Dr. Pepper or something.
This is our
palate cleanser.
This is our 99th episode, Deeds.
Welcome to our 99th episode.
What a joy it's been.
Gosh darn it, Ryan, it sure has been a pleasure working with you over these last few years.
Martin, what is your history with the Avatar franchise?
I really loved the first one. And I listened to you guys' episode, and I had to disagree in a few spots with,
feel free,
I guess, the summary of some of the feedback that
fire away.
The rest of the viewing world had given. Okay, first Avatar I really enjoyed, and I really liked it for the story. The visuals were really cool and everything, but I thought the story was tremendous. And I thought it was interesting. Ryan was summarizing a lot of media feedback on it, and they had the opposite opinion, where they didn't love the story. I thought the story was great. It was very Pocahontas-y or Fern Gully-like, but I thought the way it was presented was really good. The idea of all the interconnectedness of everything, one of my favorite topics. So I keyed into that really, really well, kind of on a personal level. So loved Avatar 1. One of my favorite moments, my favorite lines in the whole movie is when Jake is caught outside and he doesn't know how to handle himself in the wild, and the light goes, he's got his flashlight and it's just drawing all the predators, and so he kills one of those wolf creatures. So she shows up and tells him he's an idiot, and the impetus there from, I guess, a personal standpoint is that you're supposed to pick a side in that moment. Like, is Jake in the wrong because he killed an animal, or is this just nature being nature? Obviously, that's a predator. It eats lesser life forms. Is it so bad that a superior life form kills a lesser life form? So there's a lot of moral questions that get answered right there. And Nagiri's response is so perfect. She takes the third route, which is that it's not good, it's not bad, it's just sad. Like it didn't need to happen. So super loved that. That was one of my favorite moments in cinema. I remember that really, really well and how that felt. So loved it. Loved all that stuff about it. Loved the way it was presented, the battles, the way the tactics changed over time in response to each other. You could see the military thinking on Jake's part, trying to outthink the Marines. You could see the Marines trying to outthink the natives. All of that was very genuine, and I thought the story had a perfect pace, really good development, plot development, character development, and resolution. Really liked the first one. So I was super duper looking forward to the second.
I was mediumly looking forward to the second one because I have an irrational that turns out is actually rational.
No, Deeds.
Incredibly rational.
Right. Now that
prejudice
the mic,
against friggin' stupid sequels that ruin crap.
Now that the mic is on, we can now address your.
So I agree with everything Mark just said.
Yeah, so do I, and I'm glad that all those things are enhanced and embellished and beautified in this sequel that is better than the first movie.
I think all of those words mean the opposite of what you think they mean. That's what I think.
I think. All right, first off, I have one question to ask you, Dietz.
Yes.
Did you watch this on ×2 speed?
No.
Okay.
1.25 speed.
I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you. Because it's 3 hours long. What does it need to be 3 hours long for?
Oh,
there's no storyline here other than the regurgitation of the previous one. Oh, this is gonna be.
We will get into those nitpicks and things.
Bro,
okay, nope.
That is not a nitpick. Stop. That's the whole frickin' movie.
We will address those nitpicks in a little bit, but first,
you can. I'm not letting you say nitpicks. That is not a nitpick.
You're being nitpicky and biased.
Okay,
Let's talk about some of the background first. Let's address Avatar 2: The Way of Water.
Okay. Oh wait, is that what we're doing? I thought we were talking about Iron Man 4. My bad.
Obviously, this movie was a long time in the making.
Not long enough.
13 years, I think, is what it is.
We need to have a little more time to bake, I think.
Weta Studios, who are the people behind Lord of the Rings, they're still making lots of movies, and they're set in New Zealand. James Cameron moved him and his whole family to New Zealand, and they've been working on this for years. Like, Sigourney Weaver, years ago, said, I'm in the sequel. And they're like, how? And she says, I don't know, but I will be in the sequel.
Just got like 2 seconds.
Oh, you don't know. Guess what?
What? Oh, she did the voice for her kid?
She did the kid. That's her.
She has somehow had a kid? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, is she another downloaded? How did she have a kid?
Well, okay. Well, technically don't know, but she.
Oh, wait. That is what we call in the business a plot.
Obviously, James Cameron has a big story in mind. After the first movie, he's like, "There's going to be 5 avatars," and he had a room full of writers. He's like, "What's the story? What could these stories be?" He filmed 2 and 3 back to back. This is like what we've seen in a lot of trilogies. They were made like so. The kids are going to be the same age in real life. Everyone's older. They made these movies years ago, and they've just been working on them, doing different things, touching them up, CGI and things. So the kids in real life are like 5 or 6 years older, or whatever. Like the boy who played Spider, he was like 13 when he was hired, and James Cameron is like, you have 2 years, get in the best physical shape possible. Here's a personal trainer, eat only protein, yada, yada, yada. And he came back and started filming when he was like 15 or something.
Huh.
And actually, like there was the one woman who plays the army lady who's just kind of there to be the army lady on the military base. She's not a main character. I don't know what her acting name is, but she was asked one time, "Are you in an Avatar movie?" She thought the movie got canceled because she filmed her stuff so long ago that when Avatar 2 came out, she just assumed it was never going to come out at that point.
We can only wish.
So a lot of this movie was filmed a long time before it was out before. And Cameron said, hey, if this movie bombs, I can wrap up the whole thing in 3. But luckily, this movie is the 3rd highest grossing film of all time after the first Avatar and Avengers. You know?
Yes.
It sounds like 3 will be like a stopping point, and then maybe his kids become the story. Like, it's kind of like Dune that way. They take over the...
How dare you?
take over the story in 4 and 5 or whatever.
Oh my. You blasphemer.
Anyway, so a lot of innovations were made. Like, you don't agree, but this movie looks a lot better than the first.
It doesn't. It looks like a cartoon. Like an animated Disney Pixar movie.
Strongly disagree because there are
incorrect.
so many details that look incredible, like water droplets on their blue skin, or like hyper focus, like their hair. Everything looks amazing in this film. I think, like, you could tell they spent years just making it look good. For example, back in 2009, the hair simulations, there were chunks of hair, like, react this way to wind or whatever. Now, in this movie, every single strand of hair has its own simulation. Like, the literal computing capacity for everything is so much
and that
stronger.
Makes it a better film?
No, that's why it looks better. That's the only reason why it looks better, and you're wrong. I don't know why you think that.
Okay, I don't...
You must have been watching it on your phone.
No, I was watching on my big TV that I got in my room. Trying not to fall asleep.
The other thing was, like, we talked about last week, the 3D stuff was huge. It was a fad.
Yeah.
James Cameron's like, all right, I'm coming back with 3D, but also high frame rate. Because, like, in between...
that's why it looks weird.
Yeah, that's part of it. Because Avatar, like, a big movie franchise we've covered was the Hobbit films. In between these movies, they were messing with frame rate. And there's other... I think Barry Lyndon's Halftime Walk is the only movie that has something like over 200 frames per second. Like, most TVs and projectors don't even come near that. You know what I mean? James Cameron's like, they didn't do it right. This is how I'm going to do it. So if you saw the movie in specific screens, because it came out in the most different formats of any other movie. So IMAX, like Dolby Surround, like all the things I don't even know, like the different screen sizes and ways the projector can get this movie on screen. So depending on where you saw it and how you saw it sometimes with that higher frame rate only on specific scenes. So there's technical reasons why maybe some things didn't look amazing, but in theaters, it was like, oh, the frame rate itself that we can't even replicate, like, at our homes, was just that, like, was more intense. So
cool.
It is kind of cool. I mean, that's all the technical blah blah blah.
The blah blah blah.
The technical
blah blah
blah. Blah. But he's like, we're bringing 3D back. It wasn't a fad.
Turns out it was after all.
No, this movie was the 3rd highest grossing film of all time, Deeds.
That makes me doubt humanity.
Okay. Other cool things before we get into the meat and stuff. James Cameron's like, you know what? Water. He's like, motion capture? Let's motion capture underwater because I'm a crazy person. No one has ever done this again. I imagine no one ever will do this again. So,
because it looks terrible.
It does indeed.
Okay. Why would no one do it again then?
Because you need a gigantic tank for underwater motion capture cameras. Like
an Olympic swimming pool or something?
So in the last movie...
There are some of those available.
Or any other time you see someone swimming and it's CGI, it's like people on strings in midair. You know what I mean?
Sure.
James Cameron's like, we're swimming for real life. And every single actor had to do training. They all learned how to hold their breath. Like, they did months of just scuba training and stuff. Like, Kate Winslet, who plays the wife of the other tribe, She has like a world record for holding breath for acting. I think for actresses, because I think Tom Cruise has the record for that.
Of course.
Of course he does. So like they literally train holding breath and swimming, so because the average was like 2 minutes beforehand when they anytime they filmed underwater. Avatar 2 is like the average was like 5 or 6 minutes of because you have to hold your breath and also act. There's a lot of technical stuff they had to get around. Which
is impressive.
Which is kind of cool. And you get little things like, it doesn't matter really, but like how you kick your feet is probably a lot different versus pretending to kick your feet on strings,
Sure.
And that type of stuff I think goes a long way for making this movie just look incredible.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Right. Anyway, I wanted to get all the technical stuff out of the way because here's the thing. I take it back. Here's one more thing.
Okay.
All of this is basically CGI.
Yes.
And it's like, how did they make this? These are
with computers.
I know, but no, there are people doing performancing, and they look like blue people in water. Some of it's real, some of it's not. A lot of the water isn't real. Like,
wait, none of it's real. It's all CGI.
But there are real stuff here. Like, there was one shot that took over like film Twitter by storm when the trailer came out of Jake Sully's hand tightening the thing around it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is real here? Because you get little things like droplets of water coming out of like the mesh or water on like people were insane about this 2-second clip of like, is this all CGI? This looks like it's real life type of thing. And then the YouTube show I like where they break down CGI. Sorry, Mari, we'll get back to you. But they had the guy from Weta that worked on it, and he came and talked about that process of how literally from like the wrist down is a human. Everything else wasn't. And there's so much technical things we don't even think about.
Like the underwater stuff and the holding breath stuff I got. That's good.
That's
like,
cool.
That's impressive. That's above and beyond acting. So I'll give you that. That's all you're gonna get.
I guess.
So hopefully it was tasty.
I mean, a common criticism of this movie, along with the last movie, it's just a tech demo, like an excuse to use technology, and I think that's greatly misunderstanding this.
Well, I agree for the first one, for sure.
Okay.
This one doesn't have much meat to it, as we'll talk about here momentarily.
I guess so, Deeds, because it breaks my brain when you're like, what is real, what's not real? How did they make this?
Okay, I'll add on to a thing of that.
Go for it.
So there is some stuff in here that is visually amazing.
Yeah.
Mostly at the end for me.
Okay.
So what are they called? The what is it? The name of those big whale things?
Oh, I don't know. We can just call them whales.
Okay, the whales attack on the ship and that whole battle on the ship, everything that happens with the ship, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I admit that. It looks very cool. What they're doing there is very cool. That part of this is visually pretty awesome. So I'll add that. I think other parts of this, very cartoonish, but that's okay. Because I don't generally... You're the one that goes to these films looking at the spectacle, looking at the how it's made. I'm going to these films looking for great characters, great storytelling, philosophical questions that it forces me to answer, ethical questions that it forces me to answer. So, yes, like it was visually that part, at least I guess that's the last third of the movie.
Yeah.
I thought it looked amazing. I agree with that.
Yeah. Even before this movie came out, critics were like, there's about a 40-minute action finale that's all incredible. Yeah. And it's true. And
yeah, I agree.
And I think James Cameron's the Terminator guy. He's alien. He knows how to do action. Like, James Cameron knows how to make something exciting. He understands what to do to keep you on the edge of your seat.
And historically, I'm a huge fan of action movies. So.
Yeah.
There we go.
But what do you... So wait, That was ironic. I know
That is
that.
very ironic.
Okay, good thing the first 2 hours is not all that.
First 2 hours of this movie are not good storytelling.
Deeds.
Like, there is no new plot elements in the first 2 hours of this film. Even the last 40 minutes, the spectacle, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's still the same confrontation between the military and the Na'vi. It's the same thing. This is, I would say, almost literally a remake of Avatar in water instead of in the forest. That is my thesis statement.
I know, and I will explain why that's not correct.
Okay.
Or at the very least, why you're thinking about it wrong.
So we already talked about the pros. Like, the last 40 minutes are pretty visually awesome. Like, I agree with that. I don't have any issues with that. It does have a couple of good quotes. I did write down the memed quote, I'll be nice once, then I won't. That's a good line. That's a good, aggressive military type thing to say. And it's, kind of clever or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Killing only brings more killing. The water chief said that, which is interesting. So the philosophy that that we'll get to eventually after all of your apologies is the philosophy of nonviolence.
Oh, cool.
The water chief, I don't remember his name, but he says that chief's daughter.
Uh-huh.
She says the way of water has no beginning and no end.
Yeah.
That's a very Taoist. It's just this ongoing flowing river that we participate in, and then we're done participating, but the river continues, the flow of time, the flow of experience continues. That was cool. But my favorite line is Jake Sully's line. He says, "This family is our fortress." I love that. As a heavily dedicated family man, I feel that line. I believe that line. As a family that has been through a number of tragedies, setbacks, difficulties, yeah, I feel that. So those were my lines that I wrote down that were good lines. I actually didn't write any negative lines. So, Martin, do you have any favorite lines from this movie? On again.
Not really. I guess there's one. The scientist that's on the boat, the fishing boat, and they're hunting for the adrenochrome or whatever the drug is they're pulling out of the whale's tox. Anyway, the scientist guy says that this is how his research is being funded, and he says, that's why I drink. He's in a moral quandary, He wants to study these animals, and his ticket to study them is wrapped in horror. Drink the sadness away.
It made me think of our Indiana Jones series. Every bad guy has a justification for doing bad things or working with like the Nazis, and it's like, yeah, you want to do something, but this is your one way to do it. I have lines, Dietz. Should I read some lines? Here are the ones I wrote. I like at the beginning. Jake says, "Happiness is simple."
Yeah, that's a philosophy thing. Yeah.
He also says, "Happiness can vanish." When the Sky people came back.
Yeah.
That's what. And you'll get this, and I'll come back to this too. Believe you me, the father protects. It's what gives him meaning.
Yeah.
Like he says that twice, one at the beginning and one at the end, because how it recontextualized in the end. I like when his kids get in a fight with the other tribe kids, and he's like says whatever to the one son, and to the older son, what the other guys look like.
Yeah.
Worse. Yeah, good. I love that. At least it makes me happy. Is that too much?
No.
I'll say this, because it's probably the coolest moment in the entire movie.
The credits at the end.
So, here's the bad guy. I forget what the bad guy's name is.
Colonel.
He's basically sequel baiting this movie. He's like,
wait, no kidding.
Pause.
Okay.
Let me talk, Deets.
Wow.
I have the conch
you were
now.
joining my side.
He's like, I'll hunt you down. Because they had their like Mexican standoff, and they both, they back away. And the colonel guy, he's like, no matter where you go, I'll come after you. Jake, it's like, we're probably thinking the first time viewers, this is going to be the payoff, or this is setting up the sequel. Jake Sully's like, nope, it's happening right now. When Jake says, then let's get it done. That's the coolest action hero line
In the movie?
in the movie. Like, maybe not of all
the
time.
only one,
but it rules. I sometimes go back just to watch that moment. Because it's, you think one thing is going to happen, but James Cameron's like, nope, the showdown's actually going to happen right now.
Except it doesn't.
Except it does, Deets.
Get another one coming
Let's
up
get
later.
it done is such a cool line.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's so much to talk about with this
You
movie.
know what? Let me just get the only other two positives that I have out, and then you can gush, and then I can decimate. So the Colonel emotionally manipulating Spider, that scene, that was well done. That was like, we can see that he just doesn't care. He just wants what he wants. Like when Spider's in the jail cell and he comes in and they have this whole conversation about, how I'm not really your dad. I just got uploaded or whatever. And he's just trying to get Spider to do what he wants him to do. That's pretty cool. And the one moment that I really liked was when the Colonel crushed his own skull.
Oh, yeah.
That was
kidding
really
me?
cool.
That
was really cool.
How do you even have that idea, that concept in another movie?
Yeah, that was really cool.
It's
that's
incredible.
That is it for me. Those are the positives. Martin, do you have any other positives you'd like to add to this?
Your list of two.
Plus all the and then the 40-minute thing at the end. I gave you that.
It is
okay.
better right
I
now.
have two positives to share, and both of them are Neytiri. Neytiri is the most dynamic and interesting character in the movie. She moves between this nurturing nest builder to full-fledged Sarah Connor in Terminator mom rage mode. Her facial expressions are consistent with the changes in her behavior, and I don't see that depth of character in anybody else. Jake's very two-dimensional. The kids are planks of wood. It's terrible. One of my favorite things is her term of endearment for her husband. She calls him my Jake.
Yeah.
And there's just an emotionality that's wrapped up in that I don't know. It connected with me, but nobody else. I just don't care about anybody else. I don't even know anybody else's name. My Jake, Neytiri, everybody else is just interchangeable.
Spider.
Oh yeah, okay. Then maybe that's my 1.5 positive. I did like the Spider character. I liked that he was a real person, and you could tell that his mannerisms were genuine and stuff. It wasn't CGI. Yeah, that guy was pretty dynamic. And that brings me to another point. So the physical movements in the movie, I can only assume they've got those suits on, that have got all the sensors on them, where they move and then it's mapped digitally, right? Is that right, Ryan?
Yeah.
So when they've got the sensors on, they're moving around, they've got to have those same sensors on their face, because Neytiri's facial expression range is different than everybody else's except Spider. He's got that same ability to just have that humanness and that dynamic facial expressions. I don't feel like Sam Worthington. He has 2 expressions. The kids have 2, I think, smiling and not. But Neytiri's awesome. That's my point.
What's super interesting is Neytiri's basically tied to my strongest negative of this movie.
Yeah, go figure.
Not enough Neytiri. I think she gets
yeah.
sidelined, and I wish we had more. Because I agree, she's super interesting. You can tell she doesn't like Spider. But, like, at the end, when first off, when she's crying over her dead son, the acting is incredible. And that's why I'm glad Zoe Saldana, she actually wins an Oscar a few years later for a truly bad movie. But I'm glad she's getting her, recognized. Because it's not CGI, it's her doing that. And, like, when she's fighting at the end and Spider, like, looks around the corner, he's seeing a wild animal, and it scares her, or it scares him, And she would kill Spider. No hesitation. And the Colonel knows that. That's why Once again, setting up a very interesting power dynamic there, but like
Yeah.
how she reacted is insane, and I think.
So we've covered the positive. Let's move on.
Okay,
to the
hold on. We haven't even scratched the surface of positives.
on.
I'll power run them for your sake.
Okay, and our listeners' sake, who all disagree with you already, but
Just here's a couple little ones. Just sprinkle over before we get to the big ones. You know, like the fact how the army Navi guys, army Avatar guys, they look so blue in the army base, and I think that's what you're thinking about when you say cartoony look, because they look out of place. It's like, well, why they're so blue? But then you see the Navi people in the jungle. It's like, oh yeah, that's what they're camouflaged in the jungle. They don't belong in the military world. It's like how you think of a tiger. Like tiger's orange. They can't camouflage. No, they camouflage perfect. I like the concept that the Navi people don't know how to fist punch, and they make fun of the Suns because they have an extra finger. It's like, check out what I can do with this extra finger. It's called a punch. Like the concept of them of a fist fight is foreign. I think that's funny. James Cameron is using weather to mirror emotions. When Nateri shoots an arrow through a guy, that was awesome.
okay.
It's like, yes. It's almost like every dad's fantasy to go on a rampage to protect your family. Like, I will do this to protect you. And Jake's like, the whole action sequence rules. That's what I'm basically trying to say.
I got the hand.
Yeah. Like, consistently, when they start with riding those water skimmers to the end is solid action stuff. I am surprised, Deets. I'm surprised the villain thing didn't work for you. Because
That is prototypical sequel move.
yeah, bring back the first
Bring
villain.
back the first villain.
Okay.
That's a dumb.
No.
Like I was so upset when they did that. Like that is what they're gonna do. They are going to download the same villain into an avatar body and just reboot the whole battle. That's exactly what they did. I mean, I could, if you want, I can give you a minute and a half summary of this movie or Avatar, and you won't be able to tell me which one I'm talking about.
I was hoping you would do this.
Good.
Go for it, Deets.
You want me to do it?
Go for it.
All right. So, in the beginning, we have a person who is in a space that they are familiar with. They're growing, you see them frolicking, playing around, etc., etc. And then something happens to shake up in a crazy way the thing. This something is the introduction of an opposing force, a bad guy that is in opposition to whatever it is our main character wants. Our main character then makes the decision to flee in a way that separates him from the bad guy and whatever the bad guy wants. Bad guy pursues. It takes the bad guy a while to find the protagonist, but when they do, there's various atrocities that occur. And in an attempt to subdue the protagonist by the antagonist. These things just succeed in pissing off the protagonist and the other people that are around the protagonist. They then fight back and successfully overcome the vastly superior military force of the bad guy, at which point we have various explosions and awesome moments that happen, and then we conclude the film with the reunion of the protagonist with his people, and we have this good feeling at the end that everything has been resolved. Which of these two movies was that?
Okay, this is why you're wrong.
Same plot.
This is why you're wrong, and you need to rewatch the movie. I stumbled onto a really awesome chart of different film theory. They're like broken down into categories and stuff. It's really cool. I can show you later. If you like.
Oh, I would love that.
An overarching branch of just narrative theory, and then lenses that support looking at the narrative.
Yeah.
Like you just highlighted. You're right, Beats. You are correct the structure is the same.
The same story.
It's the structure is the same. The story is vastly different. So let me explain. So like narrative theory is how the story is told, their structure, perspectives, the underlying just ideas going into the movie, the mythic, and because that's where we find a lot of differences. So I think it's very much on purpose that the core repeating pattern of that structure is the same. A person moved to somewhere new, and then there's like the solid middle where it's like a nature documentary, and you just get to enjoy the world. You know what I mean? In the first movie, it was Jake learning about the flying stuff and the horses.
Sure.
But now it's like the whale.
Identical to the first movie, except it's underwater.
Right, and the structure is identical. That's what I'm saying.
It's identical.
The structure, okay, and then
period.
Like the first movie, the movie earns its humongous climax. Basically, it's like you waited this whole time, and now we're just gonna let loose.
Oh, that's how we're playing it. We have forced you to watch 2 hours of the same thing.
Because I like
we're going to reward you with this spectacle.
Yeah, okay, Deets. All right, thank you. You have activated my trap card.
Good. Bring it on.
Here's something some people don't think about, and that Cameron is allowed to do in these movies because they're so big, they're so broad and epic. World building is storytelling. I saw someone compare this movie with like a video game that takes hours and hours to play. Someone like you would be like, "Oh, the story was spread out and ruined because of all these extra hours." I have no problem
with spread out story.
In this movie, it's like the boy learning about the whales and connecting with the whale. That's story. That's stuff that's engaging and interesting, like any other thing.
I agree.
Enjoying the world of.
I agree.
Whatever the Pandora is storytelling.
I agree. It's the same exact storytelling we already got in the first movie.
No, everything is shooken up, Deets. So
what is different?
Let me tell you, Deets. I'm trying to build up.
Other than the friggin', it's not in a forest. It's underwater. That's the only difference.
No. So Jake was our solo protagonist in the first movie, and now he's not even like the main character. Now he's a family man. This is a family movie, and that alone changes everything for Jake. Like, Jake now doesn't have to do things for himself. He's doing things for everyone in his family. It's a family unit now going through all these changes. So, like, learning to fly, that's Jake. He's our audience surrogate, learning about the world. And now there's new things. It's like literally saying these animals are similar, but there are differences, especially the whales. And now the kids are learning about
it. Okay, so what you're saying is this is a vastly different film because instead of just one person learning how to fly, it's 5 people learning how to swim with the dolphin.
I'm saying that's one reason how it is different.
So it's just the same thing with more people doing it.
Yes, the
characters not different. It's the same thing.
The characters are the same. This is the next chapter in the story. That's how stories work, Deets.
No.
Okay, so
stories advance a plot line. They don't go back and redo the same plot line. That's called a remake. This is a remake of Avatar.
Okay. So for example,
this is going to be the most frustrating episode for me.
I guess. James Cameron, he's building upon the familiarity.
What's he building?
So James Cameron, he literally, he had to sit back and be like, why was Avatar so successful? And he had a team of writers be like, what did it do right? I'm like, all right, let's try to. So this movie literally.
Wait, finish that sentence. Okay, let's try to what?
Yeah, this movie is structured like an Avatar film.
No, it's
like
the same film.
So no, there's not another movie like Avatar. There's not another movie that gives all this time in the middle to appreciate the world. That's why we fall in love with the world. That's why we care about these people. This movie is allowed to do the same thing. So the repetition is not laziness. It's ritualistic.
Oh, Lord. You are an apologist.
Same structure, different environment. You're right. The forest is now the ocean. We're going from Jake Sully to the family. But with narrative theory, kind of creates the duality of one story, basically. It's the rhythmic storytelling, Deets. It's a cycle, and it basically reaffirms the story, the myth. It reaffirms the balance that we have in these films. Okay, let's go even deeper.
No, deeper?
Let's go even deeper. Martin
Deeper than what?
wrongly said Jake's too decided. I vastly disagree because
This movie, it's such the same thing. It really is, Ryan. Like every character is the same that they were in the first. Like it's in a little bit different environment, a little bit different venue, but every antagonist is the same, like literally the same. The evil corporation is still the same evil corporation. The evil military is the same evil military. The colonel's the same. His entire crew is the same. The protagonist is the same. Okay, he's got 3 kids, but it's all the same. And the middle hour of this thing is an episode of Saved by the Bell. It's Kelly and Slater and Screech go to SeaWorld and swim with the dolphins, and oh no, the rival high school is there, and some kids get bullied, and they have to make friends, and all come together in the end, and we all learn a moral lesson. And seriously, I don't know how to play movies on 1.5 speed. I really wanted to figure it out through the middle. It's so bad. It really is. I'm really sorry, but it's not good filmmaking.
Rack 'em!
all right, this is why you're wrong on a few specific points. But I wanted to go back to Jake Sully first before we talk about the Colonel, because that is where I think you guys watched the wrong movie or something. So Jake, he's a family man now. He's got kids. Now he's got to deal with not the military. He's dealing with his wife and his kids. He's got 2 sons. He's got the older son and the younger son. The younger son's the one with the braid that comes over that doesn't die. Fun fact, I just learned this. The braid over the younger son's face is supposed to be like reminiscent of Terminator 2 with John Connor and his hair falling over his face. It's supposed to kind of subconsciously connect, like, oh, this is like youth rebellion, like kids who don't want to obey the rules type of thing.
Sure.
So Jake struggles with his son because his son is exactly like him, basically. The older son is the one that basically does everything right, or the one that does everything Jake asks him to do, and that's why they're butting heads. That's why they fight the whole time. And Jake is being forced to
Ryan,
conflict.
can I interject real quick? What are their names?
Older son, younger son.
Yep. All right. I'm out.
All
That's
right,
all I
Reddit.
wanted.
Go back to Reddit, Martin, with your internet arguments.
Nobody cares about them. I'll give you a difference. This is a difference between the first one and this one. Literally everything that happens in this movie is those kids' fault. If they would have just done what their dad said, we wouldn't have had to watch this movie.
Okay, Deets, are you a family man?
That's a difference.
Are you a family man,
I gave you
Deets?
one. That was a bone I threw you. Pick
Okay.
it up and chew on it.
Okay, Deets, you have like 17 kids or something.
I have 6.
Do your kids do what you ask them
No.
to do? Oh,
Which is good.
why didn't? Oh, so when the movie has
No, I'm
kids.
just trying to help out your very weak argument.
All right.
I'm just saying that's a difference. So in the first movie, the things that happened in the first movie were motivated by things that mattered.
Mhm.
In this movie, the things that happen in this movie are motivated
All
because little kids
No,
wanna go-
all right. I see
wanna
how.
go-
Okay,
want to go
Deets,
play adult.
you are taking control of a definition because the things
That's
that
what
happen
I
in this
do,
movie and
baby.
in the last movie happen because things matter. Deets.
No.
See, I could do
Nothing
it
in this
too.
matters.
Okay.
Literally,
Ah!
it's just like,
All right.
okay, let's
so,
take that one stupid thing. Actually, it was really cool. When they blew up the L train, whatever thing, and they're getting their weapons, that's smart. See,
Right.
that's Jake Sully from the first movie doing militarily, intellectually smart things.
Okay.
Then the kids show up, screw everything up, the end. That's the only difference. I gave you that.
Okay, so let me continue what I was saying earlier.
Okay.
So Jake, there's no like handbook how to be a dad or whatever.
True.
Jake is literally having to make choices on how to raise his kids. He has reverted back. How long he's been there, I don't know, on Pandora, but he's learned to live communally.
Old enough to have teenage kids. So
yeah, they're like, I don't know. So it's been like 15
sure.
years. So Jake has learned to stop thinking about himself in the first movie. He's learned community in this movie. He's grown.
Wait, he's stopped.
In this movie,
Oh.
he's living with the Na'vi. He now has children now. He has formed his own specific family tribe. And when these people come to attack, he now is forced to, like, what do I do? Do I teach them or raise them like Na'vi? No, he's, for some reason, which is an interesting choice, he reverts back to military. He goes back to his military roots to raise his kids. They call him yes, sir. They have to do basically what feels like...
Because he's Toruk Makto. He's the leader of the Na'vi in the forest. That's why. He's a military leader.
Yeah, but for some reason, Jake is reverting because he's trying... he's made the decision to raise his kids to his military self.
Because they're soldiers in his army.
As opposed to raising them with the Na'vi way of doing things.
Yes.
So it's an interesting dynamic duality within Jake Sully, of what he should do as a father. And then he makes choice to go live somewhere else with new people. He moves his family, and now we see this very relatable struggle of how do you parent someone, especially how do you parent someone with other parents have kids your age. That is a very human thing we all go through.
Okay.
And I think makes Jake very interesting. Like, he's doing his best, obviously. He's in a lose-lose situation, and he's made a little thing that is kind of working, but his kids keep messing it up.
Yeah. So let me just offer my perspective.
Go for it.
We could have this whole movie without Jake even being in it.
I think he's not the main character.
No, like literally. We could just Jake out.
That's why it's like Dune when Paul steps away in his kids.
That means that he has no significant role to play in this film. That's a big problem with this movie. Our main character that we loved, that was this powerful, amazing transformation of this character in the first movie, basically is a non sequitur in this movie. Who cares? He's
My argument is now it's the family unit.
Great, but he doesn't do anything.
That's not true.
He plays no role in this film.
Jake chooses to leave.
Okay. And that is not a choice that could have been made by his wife or his children. It could have been. Okay, so the only role that I can see that he plays in this movie is so he can deliver the line that you love, have a fight, the end. That's all he does. That is in my opinion, a major mistake.
No, it's because the reason the kids do what they do is because of their relationship to Jake.
Right, but we can have absent father. He can be dead, and it would do the same thing.
I disagree. I think what Jake is doing is what's motivating the kids. I think he is an active participant. I think this movie...
Did we watch the same movie?
I don't think so, Deeds. You watched...
Okay. I don't think we did either.
This movie, I think, is one of the best parenting movies I have ever seen about what it's like, what it feels like to be a parent, what it's hard, all the struggles it is to be a father. This is like the parenting movie of all time, Deeds.
Oh my goodness, you cannot say that.
I
don't care. How much screen time do you think Jake Sully has in this movie? I would be willing to bet it is less than 20 minutes. Maybe 25. Out of a 3-hour movie. This is the guy that we fell in love with, that we followed through, that we involved with philosophically, emotionally, psychologically in the first movie, and they just toss him out.
So,
no, I'm frustrated.
In this podcast, we like to talk about our spheres. Our sphere of influence.
That is true.
Jake Sully can't save the world, so he chooses to save his family.
Epic fail.
That's his fear. Not his fear. That's his sphere.
His sphere. Yeah, the family is the fortress. Yes. Unfortunately, in his case, he has teenagers. And he doesn't know how to deal with the fact that teenagers have their own mind.
Yes.
And
that's why it's interesting.
That's not interesting.
That's
a parent fail.
Deeds.
Like allowing the kids to make mistakes.
Which they do.
Not because he allowed it. In fact, he shames that poor kid every friggin' time.
Because he sees himself. I already addressed this concern.
You know what? We gotta move on.
Okay.
Jake Sully shows up for 20 minutes in this movie.
No.
We could have had a hand puppet do the things in this movie that Jake Sully does, with the sole exception of fighting the Colonel at the end. What? How does he change?
At the very end, he won. Okay. Whoa.
Because he's sad because his kid dead. That's the only difference.
No. Keep throwing, I don't know what the rhetoric word is. Straw man all over the place.
Tell me how he is a different character at the end of this movie than the beginning, other than his physical location.
This movie could have been like, all right, Avatar 3, go
Are
find
you
a
ducking
new
the question?
tribe.
Is that what you're doing? You're ducking it. You're ducking it because you know I'm right.
I'll be telling you, at the end of this movie, it could have been like, we're going to run away now and go to a different tribe. No, this movie is interesting because it ends with like, no, you are still a member of this new family. And Jake is realizing that running away is not going to fix it this time.
So the difference between him at the start and him at the end is he's going to stay.
Besides the fact, he's like, all right, I can't run away anymore. That's not going to work.
Besides that,
didn't
one
work
thing.
This time. When the ship is sinking, both parents are like in trouble. They need their kids to help. They need their own children to help them survive. Because the middle of this movie, it's the kids' movie. It's like an hour of just the kids.
Yes.
The parents have decided they're not interested in learning about this culture. They're not interested in doing X, Y, or Z, but the kids were. The kids learn all about this stuff. So I love how the ending is. I need to listen to my child in order to survive, in order to do the next thing. I didn't do my part and learn how to hold my breath long or how to like do the way of water, but my kids did. And Jake has to listen to the son he's been butting heads with this whole time to do it. Like that's where that growth comes from, and that's where we see that growth.
Okay.
I mean, my favorite moment, truly, that's not one of the fanboy moments, is the ending. I think it's emotional, and I tear up every time I watch it.
What part of the end? When
they bury their son, they go to like the water people's tree of life, whatever, and it's just memories. He goes into his own memory, and when he says, "I'm just happy to see you," is the strongest. It's 3 hours to that one line of how this movie is about family. If you're paying attention, I'm just kidding. That was a dig. I apologize. No matter what, family is the most important thing. All he wants is to see his children, to be with his kids, and that's the memory. Like when it cuts from little son to older son, like, why are you crying? Like, I'm just happy to see you. Oh man, that's magic. That's movie magic. It's not just explosions. It's not just spectacle. It's not just the tech. It's this personal, intimate, beautiful moment that this movie builds to. I love that.
I'm glad.
I said I like the ending. That very, very ending, that emotional payoff was pretty good. I wish we could have gotten there without baking the same cake twice.
I think I am flabbergasted a little bit. The Colonel didn't pique your interest more.
Why would he?
Because he
didn't change either. He doesn't change from the beginning to the end either. He's the same character. He's a flat character. A one-dimensional character.
I think he is in the first movie. I think this movie, I think it's way interesting.
Okay, how is he different from the start of the end of this movie? So the dad is different because he learns to listen to his kids. And that's it.
Now, like, the other dad, the Colonel, is the foil, which is,
right.
I think, a fun shake-up thing. Like, first of all, like, I thought they'd send you back with the ship. And the kid's like, they can't send babies back, you idiot. I think that's some fun world building. It's like, yeah,
Sure.
I guess that would make sense in this,
Yeah.
the rules of this. But the fact he has a son, and then it's technically not his because he's a clone. When Natiri's like, I'm gonna kill him, he's like, he's not my son. We're not even the same species. Yeah, but it is his son. I think it's this weird, messed up family tree that I think is super interesting.
Sure. How does he change from the beginning to the end?
Because he's the one thing that motivates him is his hatred for Jake.
Yes.
And somehow Spider, this son he didn't know he had, that's technically not his son, but it technically is, was threatened. And I think that's cool, Deeds.
I do great. It's cool. How does he change from the beginning
He's
to the
willing
end?
to let Jake go because of a new factor because of his son.
He doesn't let Jake go.
Yeah, he does.
They battle and battle, and
Oh,
then
wait. He was about to let him go, and then Jake said, "Then let's get it done." Remember?
yeah,
And then they fight.
yeah.
And then Spider saves his dad, even though it's not his
Yeah,
dad,
that was
but
a
it
dumb
is
move.
his dad. But because Spider, who admittedly the kids aren't the best at acting.
No.
That's what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
But Spider's in this weird middle point where he wants to be Na'vi, but now he kind of has this thing with his dad. But Natiri also will kill him if she needs to, like if without even hesitation.
Sure.
But also, his dad isn't technically his dad biologically.
Yeah, we got that.
I know.
Covered
Isn't that so cool?
I mean, it's an interesting piece of this movie.
Yeah.
I agree. But we've got our main protagonist and our main antagonist that basically don't change at all from the beginning to the end.
They become dads.
They already were dads.
They become better dads.
Great. Okay. So we have a 1% increase in their dadhood.
Okay. No,
And
no
that's
taking
all
good
that-
definitions.
All that changes in this movie
They-
of our two main
They're
characters.
50% increase. I can do it too.
Okay,
Deets.
great, whatever. They're improved in this one aspect of their fatherhood. That is insufficient for a 3-hour-long movie that has the same basic plot line as the first movie. That is a frustratingly insufficient amount of growth
It's like-
in either of our main characters.
Okay,
I 100% agree with Martin. The mother, Natiri, should have been that. This should have been her movie. This should not have been the kids' movie. This should not have been Jake Sully's movie. It should have been her movie. Because she's the one that changes. She's the one that feels. She's the one that grows. She's the one that has the most dynamic range of emotion, of action, of everything. And she's just this little side character. I literally couldn't care less what happens to Jake Sully by the end of this movie. Because he doesn't play a role. I couldn't care less what happens to the Colonel. If he would have died, they would have just brought back another one for the friggin' next movie. Who cares? I don't care about either of them. That is a massive problem for a movie. If I don't care about the main character and I don't care about the antagonist, that's a huge problem.
except for, I think a lot of people do care.
The Colonel arrives at the end of this movie recognizing that he has a son.
Yeah.
That's the main
Okay,
growth.
all right. Well, he wakes up in the body of a species he hates. So
Correct.
I
And that doesn't change by the end.
yeah, he's still in the same body.
And
That's
he's
true.
still not happy about it.
Yeah,
The
he
end.
hates
He
Jake
did- it's
so
the same-
much.
Right. He hated Jake at the start of Avatar, the first movie. No, he didn't.
I
That's
think-
true. That did change. So from the first movie, the Colonel has a continuous hatred
Okay.
rather than developing it over the course of the first hour and a half of this movie. That's a difference.
The difference is Spider
It's
snuck
not a
in
massive
there.
difference, but there's a little
He's
difference.
now has something he could lose now for the first time ever.
Great. In the first movie, do you remember that very cleverly named substance, unobtainium?
Yeah.
Guess what? It's still in this movie. They just changed the name to Amrita. Same thing. It's this little substance that causes great damage if we get it, They just changed the name and moved it inside of a whale. No difference.
So you'd have been happier if it was
no,
still
I would have been
unobtainium?
happier if this movie had never been made.
No, I want four
This
more.
movie sucks.
No, this movie's
It's
good.
pissed me off.
And it's better than the first.
No, it is not. There is okay. Here's another one.
Go for it.
This movie is a spectacle, and you think that's great.
I think that's a plus.
I think that substituting spectacle for substance is never going to be making a good movie. This movie was made so that people could look at it and say, "Oh, wow, that looks awesome." And the fact that there's no growth, there's no change, there's no new plot line, no new plot, even no new plot devices. There's nothing new here, but dang, it looks good underwater. Dang, that ship exploding and tipping over, that looks great. This movie relies on its spectacle to sell itself.
So clearly, James Cameron has specific interests. He cares about Mother Nature.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, that is fair to say.
Now, let's explore a new part of nature. And he personally loves the ocean. Like we said last week, he's gone to the bottom of the ocean many times in a little submarine. He was called as a professional witness to that one submarine that imploded a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
It was funny because they redacted his name. They left the quote, "As you probably know from my movie Titanic."
That's funny.
So I already kind of tried to argue that the world of Pandora is the story here.
That's fair.
That's fair. Exploring the world is storytelling.
Yes. And that part of this movie is cool. Like, we're adding a new biome to the Avatar-ness.
Yeah.
That part was pretty cool. I did enjoy, I don't know, sorry to interrupt, but I enjoyed the, 10 or 15 minutes, like right when they arrived, when they're like exploring all of the differences between because up until this point, as far as we knew, all of the Na'vi were the same. They looked the same. I did like the subtle shading differences. I thought that was a good move.
Yeah.
The subtle physical differences, that was good. Like the world building part of that was good. I enjoyed that. I also really liked the fact that the whales were extremely intelligent.
See, I was gonna get to that.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Because we talked last week about things having different layers of intelligence.
Right. I liked that a lot. I'll just leave it at that.
For example, I remember in theater seeing like the whale talks. That's so weird and goofy. That's dumb. And then like 40 minutes later, like, oh, obviously the whales talk. It would be weird if the whales didn't talk, actually.
Well, and I kind of got the sense that they were the superior species. More intelligent species. The more emotionally mature species. And so I thought that was a cool choice. They didn't really do anything with that other than like the horror of killing these whales to just get this little bit when they're actually smarter than us. They're, more emotionally intelligent. They're more interconnected than we are.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was another, that's on my list. Another problem with this movie is they didn't do anything with that. We have the great scene where they come back and they're telling each other their stories, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's to me, it feels kind of like when the mother whale dying, that's like the home tree moment,
Right.
But it's kind of like the trees that you plug into. The whales, to me, feel like that, like the mobile version of that.
No, I disagree.
Well,
because they're intelligent, they're emotional, they're like powerful, but they're just like there. They needed to be more. They could have been more. Mm-hmm. Like there could have been, and there kind of is a bond, like an essential bond between the sea people, Na'vi. What do they have a name different?
I don't know.
Oh, the sea Na'vi and the whales that they did literally nothing with, other than this is cute. Look, let's share our stories. That's all he did with it.
But
that's why.
I like that you get the one guy says it would be like killing a family member.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But
that they
it's
could have
just a
done more.
non-starter.
Except for when like it's the whale jumps up on the ship.
Yeah, that was
You
awesome.
understand like
The
what's going on.
sacrifice of that, yes.
It's kind of that's what you're right. That's the
But
biggest
that's
payout
it.
we get.
It could have been like there's a ton of lore
Yeah.
behind that. There's a ton of storytelling
Yeah.
behind that. How do they become bonded? Where do they go? What do they do over there? Why is that? Like, do they bring stuff back to give with their, what are they called, spirit sisters and spirit brothers?
That's a
Do
good
they
question.
bring something? What is the significance? What is the purpose of these bonds? None of that.
Yeah.
None of that. It's just look at these great big awesome things.
It's
The end. It's spectacle.
I guess it's supposed to make you think about real nature, I suppose. Where in real life, okay,
We have spirit animals.
no, like killing whales. Whales kind of seem like this mythological thing.
So this whole thing is just this like nature Greenpeace movie? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so I found a fun argument that is about what we're talking about. So if this was under a lens, media ecology, how do we use this? Once again I'm referring back to my
The
chart.
ecological lens?
Yeah, or the media ecology.
Oh.
The techno theory is what I've assigned to this idea. It studies how media and technology shape human perspective, or shape other stuff.
Yeah.
Shape society, culture, whatever. So, like what Martin was saying earlier, what are the kids' names? I don't know.
I have no idea.
And people say that means it's a bad movie.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. At least, yeah, that's what I would. Yeah,
But
not necessarily.
we
But
don't really care about him. That makes it a bad movie.
what's interesting is Avatar is a digital world. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It's a digital ecosystem.
Yeah.
None of this is real.
Right.
Human, like we can see real life stuff, obviously. What I found is Avatar: The Way of Water constructs a hyper real environment.
Ah, we're going back to Baudrillard.
Yeah, it's back to philosophy. So this is like the interesting way to think about the movie. At
Yep.
least. It's a simulation that's more real than real.
Yeah.
You can, like I said at the beginning, how real everything looks, but it's not real. There is no ocean. There's no like Pandora ocean. Those whales don't exist. But we still care about killing the whales. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like in real life, I saw on a TikTok, there's 1 year where whales were getting killed so fast, and then it stopped because like oil, like electricity. Like we didn't need the whale oil anymore.
Way back.
Way
past.
back when,
Oh, okay.
1800s.
Yeah.
Like everyone was out killing whales all the time. Basically, for 1 year, we're like, oh, lamp oils. Psych. Now we don't need that anymore. People still kill whales. There are still people out there that illegally kill whales. And it seems like a big travesty because they're whales. I think this movie's tapping into that idea. It's like, you kill an entire whale for this little vial? Yeah, people do that and will do that. To live forever?
I don't know what that was about.
But you'd have to imagine the hyper rich would kill for something like that, you know?
Sure.
Something that stops the aging process if you drink it or whatever. It's, there's not a one-to-one comparison in real life, but the idea of that's now what funds everything because rich people don't want to age anymore.
Sure.
That's what would happen.
Yeah.
But we feel bad when the whale dies, you know? Like, I was watching this and my daughter was like, why'd they do that? I was like, because those are bad guys. Like, the bad guys killed the whale. I guess with the hyperreal environment idea, this world becomes proxy ecological, an artificial immersion that paradoxically reawakens natural emotions.
Right.
We care about things for realsies because of a fake thing we're seeing. And it's only just double interesting because Avatar is all CGI.
Right.
So it's this weird technological media reaction to the specific.
Yeah, and I would say he's quite successful at doing that. Yeah, he's very successful in getting us to care about the fact that they're just killing the whales for this little vial of whatever it is.
Yeah.
I am Rita. So that part of this film is very successful.
I think the hope Cameron has is we will care about the real life environment
Right.
because we care about this fake environment.
Right.
That's
the
the
hyper-real.
yeah. Oh,
No, that's what you were talking about.
like I saw a tweet that I think about all the time with Avatar. Back in the day, George Lucas was making the weird personal science fiction experiment movies with Star Wars, especially the prequels.
Yeah.
And now we have the sequels, not interested in that. It's specifically James Cameron, and he alone can make these type of movies.
He's got an axe to grind.
He's got an axe to grind. He's got technology he likes to play with. He's got a unique writing style, all similar to George Lucas.
Sure.
And now he's not making Star Wars anymore. The corporate Disney is.
Yeah.
And has fallen by the wayside. You know what I mean? It came out recently that there was, you won't care about this, but Adam Driver was like, I have a script. I have Steven Soderbergh as a director. The Hunt for Ben Solo. It'll be this expensive. We're ready to go. Lucasfilm likes it. The CEO of Disney said nope. And it's like, even people who hate the sequels are like, well, that could have been maybe interesting. You liked that character.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, Disney's messing stuff up, basically. So James Cameron's like, I have money. They can't say no to me. I will make my super specific Avatar passion projects.
Yeah.
So this is part of that I appreciate a lot.
Sure. I mean, as a passion project, I see that.
Yeah.
So, do you mind if I hop back to the hyper-real?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, please expound more, because I
just think it's interesting that lens that you just gave to us is kind of the opposite of what Baudrillard argues. So Baudrillard argues that as the hyper-real becomes more and more appealing, we become less and less involved and less interested in the real world, because it's not as exciting, it's not as visually stimulating or emotionally stimulating or intellectually stimulating as the hyperreal. So what James Cameron is doing is actually counter Baudrillard.
Oh,
He's
really?
using the hyperreal, according to the thing that you just shared with us.
Yeah.
He's using the hyperreal to motivate action in the real world, which Baudrillard argued would eventually go away functionally, and we become fully immersed in the hyperreal to the extent that we don't really care anymore about the boring real world.
Yeah, that's our namesake.
Right. The desert of the real. The real becomes just this wasteland that we don't care about anymore. So it's interesting that there's a theory that says Baudrillard in reverse, and that it's possible to use the hyperreal to motivate action in the desert of the real.
I wonder if it's mostly this movie, though, because the movie is so artificial technically.
Yeah.
But we still care about it. I don't watch Jurassic World and be like, I care about
Dang, I want to save the dinosaurs.
I mean, I would. The new Jurassic World was like, people stopped caring about dinosaurs. Like, no one would ever stop caring about these dinosaurs. That's a stupid way to begin your movie. So that's kind of cool. I didn't realize.
The anti-Baudrillard. That is interesting. Yeah, so as an argument for saving the whales, I think that chunk of this movie works magnificently.
See, like when the guy who's in charge of the whale hunting part dies or his arm gets cut off, people like cheered when that happened.
Right.
Because it was so.
And all he's doing is his job.
Yeah.
Which is,
I got quota. Let's make some money.
Right. So I guess what I'm saying about this, if I'm to sum up before we move into philosophy. So what we have here is, as you said, no one can say no to James Cameron, right? And James Cameron loves technology. He loves spectacle. Mm-hmm. He loves showing us things that we can't see anywhere else, that he has created. They're his brain children. And this movie shows us that. As a spectacle, this movie is amazing. The things that we see here are visually interesting. However, I continue to argue that this movie, in terms of a plot-driven or even a character-driven movie, is largely a failure, because we don't care about I'll say I don't care about any of the characters other than the mother.
Hmm.
There's no significant growth in any of the characters except for the mother. The only things that I can see that change are the dad becomes willing to listen to his kid, and the colonel maybe cares that he has a kid, maybe
He
not.
cares.
I don't really know. And so, as a character driven film, which I think both of us would agree, great films are character driven films, great stories are character driven. This sucks from my perspective. Even as a plot driven film, which is kind of the step down from, okay, if we can't have a character driven film, we can have a plot driven film. This sucks. It's the same plot.
Okay, so
There are minor differences in the plot, but functionally, this is the same plot line. There's not significant differences between this plot and the other plot. So all that's left for this movie to do is to be visually impressive, which is, in my opinion, the lowest rung of if a movie can't do the other two, at least it's a visually impressive movie. If it's not visually impressive either, then we have, Birdemic.
okay,
So this is one level up from Birdemic.
this is okay.
Okay,
Deeps,
you
what
may now
what do we want from a sequel?
nothing.
What do
I
all-
don't want sequels.
What do good sequels?
Advance the characters,
Okay.
advance the plot.
Okay, so here's where I see those advancements.
Okay.
So Awa, we know what Awa is. The daughter, who's Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, that one was cool. Sorry.
No.
That was another cool thing. That daughter and her connection.
Yeah.
That was cool.
See, that's one example of something being expanded
Yes,
and
I
expounded
agree.
on.
I agree. I had forgotten about
Because
her.
she's like the daughter of Awa. She's kind of,
However that
works.
happens.
Because like her, Sigourney Weaver's avatar was never a living thing. It was just an empty vessel.
Right.
So they just put the empty vessel back in a tube, and then it got pregnant somehow.
Somehow. Yeah.
But we don't know. But it's like,
And I'm okay with not knowing at
Yeah.
this point.
there's probably
How
going
that
to be an
happened.
answer
Probably.
in the
But
next one.
that character and her abilities was a good part.
Because that's something growing. That's something
Yes, that
being
is
shook up.
a move forward. I agree.
I think the idea that the military come back, yeah, I think that's just how history is. Like, oh, we didn't colonize you well enough. We're going to try again because you have stuff we want.
And we're going to use the same strategies as before that didn't work,
This strategy is specifically, let's kill Jake Sully.
which didn't work.
It didn't work because
Wait, that was a strategy last time.
it only became a strategy after Jake became. Yeah, exactly. The Muad'Dib. Sorry. So it's like there's a personal vendetta. I think is different, but like I said,
Sure.
agree or not, shaking up the villain is interesting. I find
shaken.
it. Well, I don't know all the stuff I said earlier.
I know.
And the family unit, like he could have had one son, and it wouldn't have been interesting as having 4 children. I think him being a family man.
But the only interesting kid is that girl, the daughter of Awa or whatever.
Well, I like
which
I
is
like
kind
the
of bizarre
son,
that
but-
she's in the family. How is she the daughter of Awa if they're the? Oh no,
She's
how
the-
is she in the movie?
it's
She's just like an
it's
adopted
kind of funny
kid?
because the movie's like, oh,
I just realized
Sigourney Weaver's avatar got pregnant somehow and had a baby. We adopted it. We're moving on.
that. Oh, so they adopted her?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
I
they
must have missed that entirely. I didn't realize until just now that was.
they
sorry.
they joke about it. They're like, "Who's your dad? Is it the avatar guy that?"
Oh, that's
likes?
right.
And she's like, "I'm gonna throw up in my mouth, basically."
Oh,
or
that's
whatever.
right. I remember now.
So it's kind of like an Anakin Skywalker thing. Who's the dad? I'm assuming it's just Awa. She's like Awa in person. She's a literal avatar, if you would.
So she's the immaculate conception for this movie.
I guess so. There's not a definite answer,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm
And
assuming.
I'm okay.
Because she can control the fish. Also, like the fact that the fish that helps you breathe wasn't used. That
was bizarre.
well, like I mean,
Why would you not use that?
I don't think they needed to because until the end, like I think it's a good move on the movie to be like, hey, that's the only time we're going to use that. It's not like a get out of jail all these times. It's, hey, you're about to drown. Here's the fish we set up way back. Like, because like the mom wasn't going to learn to hold her breath for him, you know?
Right.
Now that I have kids, interacting with parents, it's a whole dynamic we got to deal with.
But they didn't do anything with that.
Well, like he
has
doesn't want the other chief to get mad at him or kick them out.
Right.
And his son is messing with their son. They get in a fight. What
Right.
do you do? Like, that's like a human
Yes.
thing we all got to deal with. By
But
finding
that's
out.
all there. That was it.
Yeah, but
See, so here we go. We got Chekhov's gun. This film, here's another way to look at it. It brings in a lot of guns.
okay.
The end.
Oh.
Like they don't fire any of them. Maybe they're bringing them in so that in the next sequel they can fire them.
Maybe
But there's a lot of guns that are left on the table
I'll
doing
concede.
nothing.
I think the fact that Sully's kids and the other tribe son they become friends kind of feels not as
Saved
interesting.
by the Belly.
Kind of, because when this movie came out, the first season of Game of Thrones, House of Dragon came out, which is a Game of Thrones spinoff, and I remember thinking, because in the show they have this set of cousins and this set of cousins. No, yeah, their grandpa is the king, so it's like who's going to be next in line, because this family clearly have an illegitimate father based on their hair color type of thing. So it's like, and they like do hate each other, and it gets to the point where some of them kill each other, and it's like that's like the I guess grown up version of what the story could have been. It's like you're an outsider, and I would go as far as maybe murdering you because we're not getting along, as opposed to this version where they become friends and it feels nice.
Sure. Yeah. So we are obviously not going to
No,
agree
we're
on this,
not.
which is fine. That's fine. We've done that in the past.
Because I guess my thesis for this movie, it's huge, it's humongous,
I agree.
and it's also intimate and personal. It's about one specific family.
It could have been.
That's
yes.
where the disconnect here, the dissonance is, Deets.
If we had a fully rounded Jake Sully, like we have a fully rounded Neytiri, if we had fully rounded kids rather than one-dimensional kids, this could have been.
I just see Jake as a struggle. He wants his wife to be happy.
Right.
It's not going so well. He wants to fit in with this new tribe. He's got to deal with that. He also has to raise his kids.
But I don't see any of that going on. So
to some degree, I guess.
So all of this important family that you're talking about, with the exception of the mother, are one-dimensional characters. We have the oldest son. His dimension is I always do what dad says.
Yeah.
And I'm successful.
That's
it.
More background.
That's all he's got. We got the little rebel son. I always try to do what dad says, but I also want to rebel, and I do. The end. That's all he's got. We got the little kid, girl. Apparently her only function is to be cute in the movie.
Yeah.
That's all she
funny
does.
when she gets tied up. It's like, not again.
Right.
That's funny.
I mean, it's cute. And then we've got the Awa's daughter, whatever, that
Sigourney Weaver as a teenager.
Right, that they adopted. She could be multi-dimensional, but she's not. All she does is she's the weird kid that plays with the fish. That's it.
Yeah.
So of our 6 family characters, only one of them has more than a single dimension. So I don't understand how you can say this is a great family-oriented film when none of the characters are interesting. They don't change. They don't move forward. They just, one of them dies.
I guess.
And that's all that happens.
Well, what I'm seeing is just the human part of it. Like, oh, you'll have kids who don't listen to you.
Sure.
You'll have kids who directly disobey.
Sure.
You'll have kids who either get in fights or get picked on.
Sure.
And I think that's what I'm...
So it's just the humanizing of the
humanizing of this family and how I think it's...
So it's just kind of a slice of life kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's...
We don't need growth. We just see this. This is a slice of this family's life.
I think this equation you're not...
So then it's more growth that we see in like a drama that starts just in media res, ends in media res, and whatever happens in it happens. The end. We don't have a solid beginning to grow from. We don't have a solid end where growth has occurred. It's just it's a whatever that type of drama is called. We start just things are going on, and they go on for an hour and a half, and then the movie ends. Yeah, I can see that. That is not at even remotely what they set up for us to expect with the first Avatar.
I think what they set up was Jake can have a new life, and he
Right.
gets that in the first like 5-10 minutes of
Right.
like.
And then he does nothing. He doesn't go anywhere from there. He has a new life, and by the end of the film, yep, he's got a new life. The end. I don't know.
I don't know.
It just
either.
could have. I feel like it could have been massively better. It could have been like we could have been given dynamic characters. We have all of these guns that have been brought in. They're not fired.
I guess
all we have is the spectacle.
the defense I don't want to really use is some of those fires would go off in the next one.
Maybe,
Since they made them back
but you
to back.
can't do that.
I know. That's why it's not argument I'm gonna like lean heavily on it.
Fair enough. Can I bring in some philosophy stuff? I was so disappointed in the just kind of the lack of philosophical depth. Because Avatar, like I said in our last episode, is one of my very favorite movies in terms of philosophy. Like I've been thinking for years about some of the I don't know how old is it? Maybe over a decade.
2009.
Yeah, over a decade of some of the philosophical questions that Avatar asked. This one doesn't. There's almost nothing it's asking us to think about. I only came up with two. Happiness is simple.
Yeah.
So that we open with that. We don't go anywhere with it. He doesn't do anything to demonstrate how simple happiness is.
Yeah. Family time, date night.
Okay. And that's the first 5 minutes of the movie. And then what?
And then happiness was taken away when their world was turned upside down.
What?
And then he had to learn how to deal with it, and he chose to run away.
Wait, that's all the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then that's what I mean. He learns by the end that wasn't the way to solve a problem.
But that has nothing to do with happiness.
Right.
So he brings in this great concept. We do nothing with it. Even
his happiness was threatened.
It's taken away.
Yeah. And now he's got to do something to bring it back.
But what is that?
I don't know.
Oh.
Fighting off, protecting his family.
So he brings this great concept in. Happiness is simple.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of fumbles the ball, and we just peter out at the end where he's got one less family member. Is he happy at the end? I don't know. Is he sad? I don't know. Has he learned anything about happiness? I don't know. We don't know. Happiness doesn't show up anymore. So the idea that happiness is simple is a great concept.
Yeah.
I agree with it 100%. Happiness is simple. Happiness is being who you are.
Yeah.
And being okay with where you are. And that's it. And using who you are to make other people's lives better. That's happiness.
Yeah.
That's all. It's simple. I agree. This movie doesn't do anything with that concept at all. And it doesn't teach us anything. In fact, by the end of this movie, we're thinking, you know what? Happiness is fleeting. Happiness is something that you have momentarily, and then it's inevitably going to go away when somebody else pisses off somebody and they blow up your crap.
I think Jake is actively trying to bring happiness back.
I agree.
Because he has the Tyrion's one that struggles with it.
Yes.
I need you. Our daughters are in danger.
Yes.
I think the kids are the one that embrace the happiness. I think
of just the simple pleasures of being a kid.
Kind of.
Okay.
The son's like,
that's fair.
This makes me happy being with my new whale brother.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
So we get that from the kids, but kids already know happiness is simple.
That's what
we need is
I
an
am
adult.
restating is the parents had to learn from their kids.
But they didn't. They're not happy at the end of this movie.
Well, when the son dies, they plug their hair into the tree, and they're like, they get this moment together.
Sure.
It's not happiness. It's probably, I guess,
Right.
serenity.
So if happiness is simple and Jake Sully knows that, he should have been able to achieve visible happiness at the end of this, even though fill in the blank.
I guess fighting your mortal enemy is happiness.
He's not happy there.
You know what? It is happiness. Watching this movie is happiness.
False.
I am happy when I watch Avatar 2.
I'm glad.
The Way of Water.
Glad. I think, if I'm being completely honest, if this had not been a sequel to one of my favorite movies of all times, I may have liked it.
Yeah.
But as a follow-up to one of my favorite movies of all time, this movie made me incredibly angry.
I as a fan, was like, are they gonna fumble it? Is it gonna be embarrassing? Is it gonna fail? And
Yes.
I'm glad they hit it out of the park.
All right.
I heard most of it. I would like to disagree with your take on Kira. I don't think she's a good character, and I don't think she has an arc. Where did she come from? Nobody knows. In the opening, it says some mysterious way that Grace got pregnant, and now here she is, and she's a hybrid, but she's got this innate connection with Awa that's never explained. It's never developed. She doesn't have to go through any kind of training or experience or trials or anything to develop this power. It just is. She's almost a Mary Sue. She's a hero without the journey, and I don't like it.
But I don't know, in these blockbuster franchises, we frequently have things that show up that are explained later or make sense later. They're seeded in one movie, and I mean,
So
right.
My other complaint that I don't know if you guys talked about, all of the Deus Ex Machina moments, there's so many. I could name 5, which means there's probably either 4 or 7. I'm probably either under or overestimating that. But the kid's out swimming out past the reef, and then the dangerous creature comes, and oh no, he's in peril, and then he's in extra super duper peril, and then oh, now he can't breathe, so he has to surface, and he can't, and then magically the Hackleland or whatever shows up and saves him out of nowhere. And later there's so many of them. Grace with the floaty thingies swimming through just comes out of nowhere. I don't like the way Danger and Tension is built in the final scene because it's very tropish. We have the guys with guns, and then the thing that flips over, and now we're going to drown, and also guns, and also explosions, and then the lights go out, and oh, this guy's injured, and it just builds that. It's very Marvel Avengers type danger building, where the danger just compounds and compounds and compounds and compounds, and I get tired after a while, like 3 or 4. Okay, now it's super duper perilous, and oh, how are they going to get out of this and that and this other thing? And then Deus Ex Machina moment, and magically there's a solution, and everything's fine. I like the final fight scene mostly. Other than that,
I would argue, specifically the whale thing, it is a Deus Ex Machina, except for the whale we learn is cognitive and can think and choose. Like, oh, I want to save this Na'vi because that's what I do. Like at first, it's like, oh, a bigger fish. No, this is a character. It's like one of the main characters in the end is the whale. And it's like, oh, I'm choosing to save someone, as opposed to being a thing that doesn't have a character. And I would argue the breathing fish thing is technically not Deus Ex Machina because it was set up earlier. It didn't come out of nowhere. We learned she could control fish, and also that the lungfish existed. So I think there's an argument where that comes from, and set up and paid off.
Okay. I guess my argument is that when there's all of this tension building and all of this danger compounding, I have no reason to expect that there will be any consequences. And I'm just waiting for this magical moment to come out of something, nowhere, seeded, whatever. There's going to be this amazing resolution to all problems. I have a hard time getting invested on the front end for that payoff on the back end.
With the exception of his son, I was actually surprised that his son died.
Yeah.
That was I was not expecting that. I was expecting everyone's going to survive. We're going to be a happy family, blah, blah, blah. And we'll learn some lesson or something and we'll bond and whatever. So the death of the son is the only exception, I would say, to what you're saying. But I agree. Like, I knew that they were going to get out of whatever it was. It wasn't, yeah.
I feels like more like an 80s or 90s action movie, more so than
Yeah,
a
like
Marvel
the Poseidon.
movie. Yeah, I like
Get behind that.
And I think because of the budget specifically, they could build this huge set and stuff. It kind of felt, to me, more 90s as opposed to like a Marvel thing where it's probably more CGI than practical sets and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the water around them and all that.
So,
So,
philosophically, really, other than the happiness things, which they didn't really do anything with, we have like I said earlier, we have this idea of nonviolence. The idea that, as the water chief says, killing only brings more killing. That's a really interesting concept, and we have a number of examples in the 20th century of this being successful. We have Martin Luther King, who learned from Gandhi, who learned from Buddha, that yeah, we can have a successful nonviolent revolution. And so I think it's interesting that this movie, if it is the eco whatever thing, I don't know, eco hyper real thing, and Cameron is trying to save the world or save nature, I think it's interesting that he chose to show that nonviolence is not a successful tactic to use against violent enemies. And the message in terms of violence versus nonviolence of this film is, yeah, you got to fight fire with fire. There's no other option. Nonviolence will not work, which I think is, I mean, you can say that, but in a movie that otherwise feels like it's very interested in saving the planet, saving, the people, learning how to, be friends with people that you're different from and whatever. And then he just yanks the rug out from under that whole message. And he's like, well, actually, there's just no other option. You have to fight them, the end. And so philosophically, this, with the happiness thing and the nonviolence thing, the movie is not, it doesn't have a coherent message. It doesn't have a philosophical weaving together of its ideas like we saw in Avatar. Avatar philosophically is gorgeous. It is so careful in making its argument for the various philosophical ideas that it presents. This movie it drops the ball in so many ways that I am just very upset that this is the sequel to Avatar. Visually, I agree. Visually, this is a step up. The battle scene in this movie at the end is massively awesomer than the battle scene in the first Avatar. But other than the visual awesomeness of this, the detail that you talked about with the water droplets and the hair stuff, I mean, yes, that's awesome. But as a sequel to, I would almost say, an almost flawlessly character-driven philosophical treatise, I would say almost perfect. This is a very, very frustrating movie for me. So I don't hate it necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, if this was just its own movie and not a follow up, I might have a completely different opinion of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I cannot love or even like this movie.
What do you give out of 5 stars?
2, probably. I mean, it's not even remotely the worst movie I've ever seen, because there's a lot good here. There are various very successful pathos sequences in this movie, like the death of the whale, is very successful. The Naturi's the death of the son is very successful, and all of the emotions of the various family members at that moment, that's very successful. The scene that you talked about earlier, where the colonel has
his own skull. That one.
No, the colonel has somebody in he's like dropped the knife or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, who does he have?
I think it's the older daughter.
Okay, he's got the older daughter, and Naturi's grabs Spider. That's very successful emotionally, and so we've got these like bright moments of character, but on the whole, I just didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the plot, which was, as I've said repeatedly, functionally the same plot as the first movie.
I think you mean it's ritualistic, rhythmic storytelling is what you mean.
Yes, and I'm sure that when we eventually move into Harry Potter, you're going to make that same argument for all of the Harry Potter movies. They're all just, what is it, ritualistically similar? What did you say?
The repetition's ritualistic. The narrative is rhythmic storytelling.
Rhythmic, yes. I'm sure that we're going to hear a lot
We'll
about
start every Harry Potter episode.
Rhythmic, ritualistic storytelling that
I can't make you care about the characters necessarily. I just think this is where the story went, and I think this is
what we got.
That's what we got, and I like what we got.
But I know that James Cameron can make me care. That's the frust. Maybe if this wasn't a James Cameron movie.
Deets, all you have to do is let's go see the third one that comes out December.
No.
Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Great. But James Cameron can do it. He can, Aliens. I care about every character in Aliens because he made me care. I care about every character in T2 because he made me care. He made me care. I care about all the characters in Avatar because he made me care. I don't give a crap about these characters. Why can't my old James Cameron be? I know why. Because he hasn't made a movie in 15 years. He's been floating on the bottom of the ocean. He forgot how to do the characters. Maybe that's what. Get off the bottom of the ocean. Watch your own movies, James Cameron, and give us a better 3 than you gave it 2. That's all I got to say.
What if 3 is really good and you like it?
Maybe. I mean, that'd be great.
I mean, I'm excited for it.
I'm not.
They say the whales, they perform their own songs, right? Tell their own stories. It says the whales have their own philosophy.
Yeah.
Deets, can animals have philosophy?
But whales, I don't feel like are animals.
In real life.
Oh.
Can animals have philosophy?
I would say probably not. Because one of the main things that enables us, or that one of the categorical differences between human beings and every other species on the planet is that ability, the metacognitive ability to think about our thinking. It's just not, as far as I know, not present in any other animal.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would say no. What do you think?
I would say yes, but in a different sense.
Oh, interesting. So would animal philosophy look like?
It'd probably be more like I need to do this to survive, or like Lion King, who are part of the circle of life, but I have to do my part in the circle to make it function. Are they aware of that? No, but in their animal way, it's like this is survive, have kids, blah blah blah, and I guess I'm trying to say that could be a form of philosophy.
Sure, it could be.
You are correct.
I don't actually know if there are species that have metacognition, but my position currently, absent any information at all, is we're the only ones. Martin, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Are you back?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, it was mostly us. Our most heated episode in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. But just in case you were worried, dear listener, I still like Ryan. I still respect a lot of what Ryan says. I just think that sometimes he doesn't see things Correct. Oh, Martin's back. You have any finals?
Final thought is I want to see a Nigiri movie and not a Kira movie and not another Colonel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it looks like from the trailer for the next one, that Jake and Natiri are maybe
They're getting a divorce.
not on the same page, because I think she's just angry and he's trying to maintain it. So it's like, this is kind of going in interesting ways.
Okay. I might watch that.
There's also like a different avatars who don't believe in Awa, like an atheist Navi. That's such a cool concept.
Yeah.
So it's a new antagonist is a different Navi tribe person,
Oh, good.
which is
So the Colonel goes away?
he's still there, but there's also a Navi chieftain lady who is after them too for some reason.
I might watch it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway, I'm excited for it. Will it make $2 billion?
You like blockbusters.
I do, but I think this, like I said, I think this blockbuster is huge, personal, and small at the same time.
Sure. Yeah,
We don't agree about that,
No, we
but
do
that's
not.
okay.
that is okay. We can still be friends.
Yes.
So thanks to Martin for listening or being with us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. Think critically, and we love you. Bye.